Now that Peace Talks week is over, it's time to turn the page onto the next section of stuff that's going on the channel. But first, let's talk about this week. Hey, what's up, bookworms? Mike back with another weekly update, a week that was dominated by the release of Peace Talks by Jim Butcher. But if you aren't a Dresden file, we got other things that we're going to talk about here, and there are new things on the horizon, guys. So yes, it was a speed run there towards the end to try to finish up with Dresden Files for that new release, and things actually worked out quite well. But before we do that, guys, we'll do it like I always do, update you on the subscriber count. Slow and steady, my friends. We're getting there. Like I said, no real goals. So again, we're just playing with house money here. I guess 20,000 is the next big milestone. So things look like they're still trending in that direction. So ever thankful. Thank you so much. Again, I cannot stress enough, guys, if you want to join the Discord, please check out the link below. Join the Discord. So much great conversation going on there. I can't even keep up with it anymore. I'll sign off and I'll sign back on in a couple of days, and it's just like, it's madness. So it's a great place if you don't want all of the annoyances of a place like Twitter. I'll just put it like that. It's definitely a very positive and welcoming community. It's something that I've tried to actually enforce on there, and we've done very well up to this point. So please join us there. And as always, if you like what I do and you want to help out, you can hit the channel Patreon and help the channel out. As always, these things are welcome but not expected, and I appreciate you. But let's get into this week, guys. I did finish the first book in Rise of Empire, which is Nifron Rising. Again, Sullivan is 3 for 3 with me on these stories at this point. Such a fun writer. He really, really is. I said it feels almost like something that could have been written back in like the early 80s, but it doesn't have all those outdated tropes that you would expect in something like that. It just really feels like a really good, just traditional fantasy. His main duo is so fun together. I'm about halfway through book 4, which is the Emerald Storm right now, and I can't say enough about this. If you guys haven't given this a try, it's not a heavy read. It is by no means brain dead or anything or simple, but it doesn't require a ton of brain power to get into the series, and I think you'll have a blast with it. I don't audiobook, but I've been told the guy who does the audiobooks for Red Rising does them. Tim Reynolds, I think his name is. I can't remember. Anyways, if that's a selling point for you, yeah. But he sells these on his website, and the money goes directly to him instead of his publisher. And I've liked these 3 so much that I went ahead and I bought the next series, which is Rhaenyra Chronicles. And I bought those directly off of his website, and he personally emailed me and thanked me and said that he's going to be signing them and sending them to me. I love an author that engages with his audience, and Michael J. Sullivan is definitely one of the good ones. So yeah, highest I recommend. You can get that the six book 3-volume set on Amazon for like $25. I really recommend it. I'll drop a link below if you want to get that. As far as The Witcher, guys, yes, I'm still struggling with Time of Contempt, and I'm going to tell you why. Don't get mad. I know the Witcher folks. I know this is the one that you guys wanted me to read the most, and I would say that it's kind of gotten benched just because I'm enjoying this that much. But there was an early chapter where Yennefer and someone else are talking about billeting and pole and chimney tax for like 7 or 8 pages, and I was like, who finds this interesting? I'm a former accountant, and I don't find this interesting. So I'm sure it picks up. I'm really not that far into it. I think like 20%. I'm sure it picks up, and I'll eventually get through it. But it's not going as smoothly as the first 3 books, Last Wish, Sword of Destiny, and Blood of Elves did for me. And that's rather surprising, because I really love his writing style. And I'm hoping it gets past. It's just a very slow start. But once I finish with Rise of Empire, I'll definitely make that a priority before I dig into my next book, which, if you're joining the group read along, you might know about. It's going to be time to start Trader's Blade. Yes, I know the read along starts in August. My schedule is a little clear. I am going to be finishing. That's basically The Witcher and Rhaenyra are the last ones I had on my schedule for July. And I've looked ahead to my October plans, and I'm a little scared that I kind of loaded my plate a little more than I can do. So I said I'm going to try to read ahead a little bit on some of these things. With this one, this really just depends on when that advanced reader copy of Battleground comes in, the next Dresden Files book, or if if I get the advanced reader copy of The Trouble with Peace by Joe Abercrombie. Obviously, that's going to kind of skip before it, but I'm thinking starting this at the end of July and maybe getting back on Fires of Vengeance by Evan Winter. So that is what I've got going on now and soon to be. As for on the channel, I did do my Peace Talks review right here. It was actually the only tweet that Jim Butcher made on release day was to tweet about my review, and I cannot say thank you enough because it gave it a big boost. I was very I just love that the guy actually he watches the videos, he comments on them on his YouTube page. It's very cool to know that an author is watching your stuff, and it's pretty much like a ringing endorsement. I can't say enough about it, and I can't thank him enough. And I enjoyed the book. That's why I did a non-spoiler review and a spoiler review like I usually do. And believe it or not, book 16 of a series, the non-spoiler review is doing way better in views than the spoiler review. So maybe I was wrong when I said no one wants a non-spoiler review of book 16 of the series. Maybe I was wrong. Because yeah, it's gonna get like 10,000 views in the first couple of days. So there we go. Did you guys like the book? Let me know, because I was actually kind of distraught. Two guys on the Discord server that are huge Dresden Files fans are very disappointed with it, whereas I liked it quite a bit. So drop in the comments. Let me know what you think if you didn't watch those videos yet. And like I said, now I'm just kind of waiting for Battleground. The publisher did email me and say that they appreciated my reviews. They saw my reviews, and that they will be sending me a arc of Battleground soon. So I don't know what that means, but we'll find out. Obviously, I'll be covering that in the same way as I did Peace Talks. Talked yesterday about popular questions that I get on the channel a lot. The number one question I get is, how do you read so fast? Like it's just some kind of like special ability or cheat code or something. And I always thought, hey, I'll make a video about how do I read so fast and why I don't listen to audiobooks. And it just turned into, you know what, why don't I just look at some of these comments, think about a handful of the ones I get asked the most, and just answer it in like a commonly asked question video. So that's what that was. I had fun with it. I love talking about things that aren't just what I'm reading, what I haven't read, or what I want to read, things like that. It's fun to talk about those things, especially every once in a while when they aren't about books. It gives you something. It keeps things fresh, I think. So that's what that was. I hope you guys had a good time with it, because I had a good time talking about those things. It's a lot of fun. It was kind of almost like answering questions from a live chat, but without the live chat. I don't know when I'm going to do one of those again. Maybe 20,000? I don't know. We'll see. What else? I talked about The Dark Tower finally and why you should read it. Dark Tower is a series that is very important to me. Like I said, I feel like I kind of got the reputation over a span of the first year on this channel as someone who hated The Dark Tower because I was disappointed with elements towards the end of the story. No, the story is that good that those things don't knock it down. I have it as a top 5 fantasy series of all time. It's the fantasy series that made me realize that I still loved fantasy. I hadn't read fantasy in almost a decade when I read The Dark Tower, and it made me realize how much I still loved fantasy. And I immediately picked up A Song of Ice and Fire right after that. So I mean, it was that gateway that got me back. Because at that time, man, I was nothing but Crichton, King, and Anne Rice. I wasn't reading any fantasy authors at that time. So, yeah, I'll always have a special place in my heart for it, and I hope I encouraged at least a handful of you to read it, because I think it's a wonderful series, and it's a journey worth taking. And again, what I tell people is your mileage may vary on the ending. I am in the minority of people who don't like it now. When it came out, yeah, there was a lot of pushback. Over time, a lot of people have become okay with it. But again, I didn't hate the ending. I didn't like elements from books 6 and 7. The ending was fine. I had no problems with it. I appreciated what he did. There was just things. But we'll get into that when I get into the multiverse stuff. And speaking of Into the Multiverse on Cujo is coming next week. And then we'll be doing The Gunslinger in August. So I'm looking forward to talking all things Dark Tower on the channel not with full spoilers, because the Into the Multiverse isn't spoilers, but there's spoilers at the end. So we'll talk about those connections. And there are a ton of connections within the Dark Tower. What else? I don't want to say it's like an announcement or whatever. I told the people on the Discord about this. It's either next week or the week after. I'm probably going to be having a conversation with John Gwynn on the channel. If you don't know, John Gwynn is the man who wrote the really awesome Faithful and the Fallen series back there that I've been gushing about for the last couple of months. I'm not really one who has an interest in interviewing a lot of authors on the channel. Like, I had a lot of people say, hey, this author will come on. Why don't you ask this author for now? I'm not an interviewer. I don't know. I'm not really good at that. I feel like John Gwynn is someone I would want to talk to. I feel like even if we just sit here and talk about axes and battle armor for an hour, it's going to be fun for me. So he seems like such an awesome guy. And anything I can do to get more eyeballs on his series, I'm going to do, because I feel like this is the hidden gem of the modern fantasy era. There are not enough people who have read that series, and I feel like everyone needs to. So he's actually in the editing phase for his new series that comes out next year. And he said, he got the final draft, and his publisher wants him to make edits on it and have it back to him in 7 to 10 days. So he's a little busy right now. Did I mind waiting? I was like, of course, whenever you're free. And if you want to send me that book, it's cool. You can do that too. So I'm looking forward to having him on the channel, because I just cannot wait to pick his brain about certain things about that series. And guys, if you haven't read Faithful and the Fallen, do it. Let's move over into TV talk now. Now, this is something that I think I might be a little behind the times in, and that is that I watched The Tiger King finally. Here's the thing. Me and my wife speed ran through Unsolved Mysteries on Netflix. I love the Unsolved Mysteries talked about last week. I loved Unsolved Mysteries when I was a kid, and this one I was like, I don't know if I want to watch it without Robert Stack. They don't try to replace Robert Stack. There's no narration. There's none of the corny reenactments or anything. It's just, if you're one of those people who love stuff like Making a Murder or whatever, and you want that put into single episodes, you're going to be crazy invested. I think of the 6, 4 of them are really just superb of the 6 episodes. And one of them just made me like so mad. And you'll see why, because it's like, at the end they say, if you have any evidence that can help in the case, I'm like, hi, yeah, I've got some evidence. I just watched the episode you put out, and this guy did it, So it make you feel like you're your own Reddit sleuth or something like that. But after that, I was kind of in that drama-mentary, I guess that's what they call it, drama-mentary documentary kind of mode. And so I said, hey, you know what? Let's finally watch Tiger King. I've heard so much about it. I'd like to understand the gifts that people pop up at me all the time and understand what they're talking about. And we watched it in a couple of days, and oh my God, I hate Carol Baskin so much. It's wild that a documentary like that, or mockumentary, whatever you want to call that series. People get mad when I call it a documentary. So a series like that is where you have someone as eccentric as Joe Exotic, and I don't think he's the craziest person on the show. So it was definitely a weird look at what things are like in Oklahoma, apparently. They ain't like that in Texas. And so it was a good time. We had a lot of fun with it. And it's one of those, it's kind of a train wreck in slow motion. You can't really look away. I don't really know what else to say, but I don't really have a lot to add that people haven't, talked about for months now, because they watched it when it came out. A lot of things like that where they first come out, because look, anything that comes out on Netflix, people freak out the first week, because it's something new. And I get that. So I would usually wait. I didn't even watch Stranger Things when it debuted. I like to wait and see what was the flavor of the minute and what's actually going to be the flavor of the month. And like, for example, I tried watching Warrior Nun, watched the first episode. I'm not the target demographic for that. That show, Warrior Nun, it started really awesome. I was like, okay, this is like John Constantine level stuff, really. And then 30 minutes of singing and dancing like it was a CW episode. And I said, yep, this ain't for me. So again, there is an audience for that. It's just not me. And that's fine. If I judged it poorly off one episode, you know what? I don't have a ton of time to watch TV, so I got to pick and choose what I can. But enjoy Tiger King, enjoyed Unsolved Mysteries, and I think that you guys would enjoy both of those if you're into that type of thing. Let's move on to some movie stuff. Uncharted. They're finally making an adaptation of Uncharted, the very popular game series, a game series that I adore. I have played through numerous times. What I think is, one, this is being done by Sony, so I'm not expecting much. And we got the first production stills of Tom Holland as Nathan Drake, and I'm not feeling it at all. Yeah, he's a great Spider-Man. I think he just is one of those guys who just looks like he's 14, no matter how old he gets. And I'm not buying him as Nathan Drake. So it's going to be a hard sales job on me. But I don't know. I don't know. It sucks because after you saw that Nathan Fillion fan film that they made with Stephen Lang, that to me was like, okay, well, this feels like Uncharted. And I don't feel like that movie is going to be anything like Uncharted. It's going to have the character names. It's going to have gunfights. And that's going to be it. It's going to be just like every other video game adaptation that never has anything to do with the actual game. So, good thing is the Uncharted games are still there. You can go play them anytime you want. They've even remastered the original ones. So, recommend those if you haven't played them yet. Let's talk about some video games since I'm already rolling into that. Not a lot of movie news or movie interest. I mean, we can't even go to the theater, you know. Ghost of Tsushima, is that how I say it? Ghost of Tsushima on PlayStation 4 has stunning review scores. And I think this is one of those things where I just said that I was just going to wait and see on it. But now seeing, just watching, there's one reviewer I really trust called ACG, and he doesn't have any promoted stuff. He's just straight honest, and that's why I trust his reviews. He's never steered me wrong in the 3 years I've been watching him. Game I'll be really hyped for. I watched his review and I've been like, I'm just going to make my own opinion. And then I played it. I was like, holy shit, he was right. So I trust him wholeheartedly, but he really had very good things to say about this game. And then everyone did. Everyone says it's really great. You got to be careful because I feel like PS4 kind of has like that cult of personality at this point. Like no matter what it is, people are going to say it's amazing. Kind of like the MCU. Anything they put out, people are going to say it's amazing. And it doesn't mean it's not good. It just means I don't necessarily think it's amazing. I reserve amazing as I do like 5-star book reviews. You know, I want something to truly be amazing before I use that word. So that's a personal thing. So really good review scores. I watched some gameplay footage of it. It looks really awesome. It looks almost like Assassin's Creed, the newer Assassin's Creed games, but in the feudal Japan era, which is just awesome stuff. So am I going to get it? No, not right now. Not right now. I have become such a hardcore PC gamer. It takes a lot to get me to buy a console game right now. Mostly because I got to fight with my wife for the TV, and I don't want to do that. But also just I just like playing on the PC so much now that I rarely play anything on PS4. I think God of War was the last thing I played on PS4 because I've been such a huge fan of that series for so long. I went ahead and bit the bullet and did that. But I never thought that I'd be interested in getting a Ghost of Tsushima before I got Last of Us 2. So crazy days. Crazy days. One more thing, though. They did put out a trailer for Far Cry 6. Now, Far Cry is another Ubisoft series I feel like has gone the way of another Ubisoft series, and that is Assassin's Creed, in that they put out a new game every couple of years, and the fans of the earlier games hate the new stuff. They hate it. Whereas people like me who jumped on board later really love it. I love the newest. I love Origins. I love Odyssey. I'm probably going to love Assassin's Creed Valhalla. It's for me. I love that open world style of gameplay. And I realize that there's not very much Assassin's Creed in there anymore. So at this point, yeah, it's just name recognition. With Far Cry, I don't know what people's complaints are. I feel like all the problems I had during Far Cry 3 and 4, they fixed with Far Cry 5. And Far Cry 5 seems to be the one that the fans pissed all over. I understand. I thought it had an amazing villain. It had the best supporting players. You can get your companions. It was just the AI was off the charts. The landscape was awesome, and then you added on the New Dawn. They called it a sequel, but it was very much like DLC, which events in that game I won't tell you why they're important. But Far Cry 5 plus New Dawn to me made the best Far Cry game overall. And I love Far Cry 3 just like everything else. But you know what you didn't have to do anymore? You didn't have to climb towers anymore, and I love that. I hate climbing towers. Far Cry 4, oh my god, it's like another tower to climb. Far Cry 3, another tower to climb. I get why they had that gameplay style. I just got tired of it, and they finally fixed that. So that's why I love Far Cry 5. What makes Far Cry games so great is the main villain is usually the big selling point. And this one has Giancarlo Esposito. That is Gustavo Fring from Breaking Bad, in case you don't know. And if you watch that trailer, it looks like it's going to be really good. Really, really good. So, Far Cry, Assassin's Creed at this point, I'm a take your money kind of guy with that. I trust Ubisoft with those two properties right now. And then, again, I understand if you aren't into it. I love it. I love it. And I can't wait for Far Cry. So much so that when they announced this, there was a sale for Far Cry Primal for $3 on PC, and I had never played it before. That was the only Far Cry game I hadn't played. So I said, why not? I'll go ahead and pick it up. And I played it about 10 hours the last couple of days. Having a blast with it. Because I feel like it's the first Far Cry game where you got like your survival. You got like true survival mode on it. Like you've got to get food. You got to feed your hunger. You've got to get rest. You have to get clothes for warmth. You have to break sticks and stuff to make arrows. It's the first Far Cry game where I felt like it was true survival. You know, there's no handguns. It's all spears and bow and arrows. And it's a neat idea. It was a really neat idea that I thought I feel stupid for waiting this long because I'm having fun with it. And I just got like a companion that's a freaking saber-toothed tiger. Awesome. You can ride it. I'm riding a woolly mammoth. It was fun. It's very, 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 very fun. But guys, that was my week. What are you up to? What are you listening to? What are you playing? What are you reading? What are you watching? No wrong answers as always, and have a great, great weekend. See you in the comments.